Hello everyone, and welcome to this brief tutorial on the governing structure of the Bahamas Natural Resources Foundation. This organization has come a very long way from a mere concept to a growing and diverse institution. So getting to know the governing structure of the foundation is significant, not only from a systematic approach, but also to appreciate the foundation's vital role in protecting the country's natural resources. Now, foundations have been around for centuries, oftentimes seen in life's most troubling moments. Take, for example, in World War II, where many Europeans used foundations to protect their wealth from enemy forces, and in times of famine and depression, foundations played a significant role in the establishment of orphanages, homeless shelters, and other facilities to help the less fortunate. And its role in society remains the same, even to this present day. Now, generally speaking, the operation of a foundation involves the transfer of assets from an individual to another person for the purpose of distributing those assets to a third party or for the use of a particular interest. So let's take, for example, a soldier who is leaving for war, decides to leave his home to his son on the condition that the son would eventually transfer the property to his child, or otherwise the soldier's grandchild, when he reaches the age of maturity. Such an agreement would not only ensure the succession of the soldier's estate to his third generation, but would in turn implement a sense of ethics, which was important in many societies such as ancient Rome, which codified this practice into written law. Now, I know what you're thinking. This example sounds just like a standard trust, right? So what's the difference between a foundation and a trust? Well, quite frankly, there are a number of differences, far too many to address in this tutorial, but the basic difference between a trust and a foundation in our circumstance is that a foundation is a separate entity unto itself, like a company, while a trust structure is not a separate entity, but rather a relationship between the settlor, trustee, and beneficiary, established either verbally or in writing, as found in a trust agreement, for example. This means that it is the trustee that bears certain obligations in their personal capacity on behalf of the trust, such as beneficial ownership of assets or the ability to enter contracts. So in the event of a lawsuit, it is the trustees that are personally sued and not the trust itself. Now, the opposite takes place with a foundation, where it is the foundation itself that enters agreements, holds legal and beneficial title to assets, and in the event of legal action, it is the foundation that is sued and not the trustees or the founders. But what really stands out between a trust and a foundation is the degree of acceptance of foundations by civil law and common law jurisdictions alike. While a number of civil law jurisdictions still have some difficulties in recognizing trust structures. Now, here in the Bahamas, we wasted no time in developing our own unique version of the foundation, having created more or less a legal hybrid, combining the benefits of a standard limited company and a standard trust structure into one, which is defined under the Foundations Act. Now, one of the main features of the definition provided by the Foundation Act is the need for a foundation charter, which is the central document that governs the organization's assets and the purpose of the foundation. It establishes the registration of the foundation while confirming the identity of key functions such as the purpose and objects of the Bahamas Natural Resources Foundation, and also addresses the vital functions of the foundation itself, such as the prohibition of discriminatory practices and confirmation of the governing laws which applies to the foundation. The Charter also describes the role of each position within the foundation and their powers, starting with the founders, who would have been responsible for the registration of the foundation, the transfer of assets to the foundation, and initial appointment of the Board of Trustees. In the BNRF structure, the founders take a more reserved approach in its ability to exercise the removal of the entire Board of Trustees on its own by way of majority vote, or the removal of individual trustees with the combined majority vote of the Board of Trustees. However, the founders can only do so under the provisions of Article 22, which set the grounds for the removal of founders and trustees under certain conditions, such as bankruptcy or mental incapacity, financial-based crime, misconduct or non-compliance with regulations after formal warning, and conflict of interest activities. Article 22 also provides the mechanism for the founders to dissolve the Board of Trustees for the purpose of facilitating the election of a new board, together with the transfer of the founders' authority under the charter to allow trustees to carry on their administrative functions. There's also a mechanism for the removal of a founder, which is made possible by written notice to the founders and board by a minimum of 2 founders and 3 trustees, and both the Board of Trustees and founders must have a majority vote made at an extraordinary general meeting. Otherwise, the founders take a back seat while the Board of Trustees takes a more administrative role in the foundation. They are prohibited from voting in the activities of the BNRF branches, but may attend meetings and express their opinions on certain issues or advice on investments to be made by the BNRF. So throughout the foundation charter, you see a degree of separation between the founders and the administration of the foundation. And there's a reason for this, which is to preserve the legal concept of trust in the foundation framework, which limits the intervention of the founders in the use of assets endowed on the foundation itself. But you also see the role of the founders as the organization's fail-safe, which maintains a more ethical approach in its ability to appoint an auditor for the purpose of reviewing the financial records of the foundation, and the protector or committee of protectors, whose responsibilities include ensuring that the foundation remains compliant with internal policies and Bahamian law. Now, like the founders, auditors and protectors have a more passive role in the organization and are also prohibited from voting or otherwise participating in the daily affairs of the organization, with the rare exception of the protector's ability to exercise the powers of the founders in the event that all founders are disqualified from office. Now, coming to the heart of the foundation is the Board of Trustees and its officers, as provided by the foundation charter, which has provided for the election of these individuals on an annual basis. As expected, the board has a laundry list of powers and responsibilities, but it is mostly known for its role in the establishment of the foundation's bylaws, which govern the activities of the Board of Trustees, appointed committees, and paying members. It is the branch of the foundation that is informed of the day-to-day activities of the foundation officers, has access to the organization's financial records, and steers the direction of the foundation by way of majority vote. Ultimately, the role of the Board of Trustees is fiduciary in nature, in ensuring that the foundation's objectives and regulations are followed. The Board of Trustees also has the privilege of appointing the foundation officers, whose duties are primarily administrative, and with this responsibility comes the obligation to exercise reasonable care and skill in the conduct of the affairs of the foundation, including exercising due care and skill in the management and investment of the foundation assets, and must act in accordance with the foundation charter and its regulations. Presently, the BNRF has appointed a chairman, a secretary, and a treasurer, all of whom are involved in the hands-on management of the foundation while keeping the Board of Trustees informed on a regular basis. The bylaws will speak more to the responsibilities of the foundation officers. However, from a general point of view, we see the role of the chairman as the face of the organization and plays an active role in representing the foundation in public affairs, updating the founders of the foundation's status, sets the strategic agenda while evaluating the results, and monitors financial reports while mediating various issues between the branches of the foundation. Now, the role of the secretary is slightly different, where it involves the preparation of minutes and maintains the foundation records, communicates with various branches of the foundation in providing notice of meetings, and also assists in the preparation of formal correspondence with the public. The duties of the treasurer involve being the custodian of foundation assets, the keeping of records, assists in auditing the foundation assets, and reports on the financial status of the foundation to the Board of Trustees. Now, last but not least is the role of the beneficiary in the objectives of the foundation, which are provided for in the charter. As of this 2021 year, The Bahamas Natural Resources Foundation is now a recognized nonprofit organization under the Nonprofit Organizations Act and can now receive charitable contributions from the public in order to fulfill its mission for the benefit of the public at large. From this point, we see the three pillars of the foundation objectives at work through education, public engagement, and empowerment, all paid for by the generation of income through charitable donations, business investments, and other means of driving revenue for the protection of our natural resources, as well as to maintain the foundation and its administration. Now, this brings us to the end of our tutorial, and I hope that everyone has had a better understanding of how the foundation works as we look forward to seeing the advancement of the Bahamas Natural Resources Foundation as one of the country's most prominent organizations. Be safe and have a great day.